So I want to talk about why refusing to do the work on yourself and your mental state and your thought patterns and your beliefs is just shooting yourself in the foot. On the Neville subreddit and in a lot of the Neville literature, it's made pretty clear that you don't have to do any of that. And I know from personal experience that you can create things while having a horrible attitude. You can do things while still having bad beliefs about everything, disempowering beliefs, negative thinking, all of that stuff. You do not need to prune your mental garden in order to consciously direct creation. But you should, and here is why. 2 things. Number 1, when you decide on the thing you want, and we'll call that point B, you're at point A, you impress this thing on your mind, and then it is given its task to get you from point A to point B, and it will. If you are approaching your life without having done the work to get your mind as pure as possible, and by pure I mean you don't automatically think negative things. You've examined all of your beliefs, rigid things that you feel about the world, yourself, other people, and gotten rid of them. If you haven't done that, your subconscious is going to have to steer you from point A to point B around all of the obstacles that your thinking creates. Your beliefs and negative thoughts create things. They create experiences. So what might have taken you 6 days to get, had your mind been clear and free of all of this nonsense, might take 6 weeks or 6 months or 6 years, because your subconscious, the superconscious, has to find a path for you to that in spite of all of these things you're thinking. What might have been easily perceived by you had your mind not been focused on a negative thought or something, or you didn't have a belief that was blocking you from seeing a way from point A to point B, you might get there so much faster. So it's kind of like, do you want to drive from, New York to Los Angeles in a piece of shit car that is going to break down every 50 miles and need to get repairs done, and, or do you want to drive there in a brand new, pick a car, one that is going to be enjoyable to drive and that is going to get you there directly without all this other bullshit happening in between there and in between where you are and where you're trying to go. Which sort of brings me to my other point here. When you impress the idea of what you want on your subconscious mind, and it does its thing to figure out how to get you there that you cannot be aware of most of the time, it is going to pick a route, the fastest, most direct thing based on what you want. And we don't know how that works, okay? But sometimes getting you from point A to point B involves incidents happening that seem bad. They don't seem related. They don't seem pleasant. Maybe they aren't pleasant. But if you want your experience between point A and point B to be as enjoyable and pleasant as possible, you have to do the work to get rid of all of your shit. Because let's say that your fondest desire involves you losing your job and wrecking your car. And you get the thing you want, and you find yourself 2 years from now with your soulmate cuddled up with you in the most wonderful job you could have imagined. You never could have imagined it. And you're living somewhere, whatever. Your fondest desires have been realized. And you look back and you go, oh my God, if I didn't crash my car that day, I never would have met my soulmate when she came running up saying, are you okay? If I hadn't lost my job, I would never have been looking for another one and found this perfect thing that everything led me here to this point. That is how it goes down sometimes. And so if you rid your mind of all this disempowering stuff that brings you down all the time, then when you wreck your car, and that sucks, you have all these empowering mental things in place that make you go, oh, maybe this is a part of the bridge of incidents, And people don't place enough value on that. Having that right attitude makes you see things you wouldn't see otherwise. Do you have to do it? No, but you're shooting yourself in the foot if you don't. I hope that that's clear. This is crystal clear to me. And, if for no other reason, do it because you're greedy with your time. You will get there faster if you are not bogged down with negative beliefs, negative thoughts, dwelling on things that have happened that bothered you, dwelling on the past, dwelling on the future that you're afraid isn't going to come. Do the work to get rid of all that stuff, and your whole life becomes a dream. I've made my case, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and may all of your dreams come true.